For this problem, I'm going to start by converting z and w into polar form, and then I'm going to multiply them together, and in the next problem I'll divide them. And in the homework it did say to leave the answer in polar format. So how I'm going to go about doing this is I'll start with z, and oops. To do that backwards, right? So I want to find the r value for z, then I'll find the r value for w later. So the r value for z is 6 squared plus a negative 6 squared, and then we take the square root of all of that. And that's 36 and 36, which is 72. And when I simplify that radical, I get 6 square root of 2. And theta for z is the inverse tangent of negative 6 over 6. And what I want to do is check where is this point, 6 minus 6i. So I want to find out what quadrant we're talking about here. And x is the 6, and y is the negative 6. So we're talking quadrant 4 here. So when I find the inverse tangent of negative 1, then I get a negative 45 degrees, or positive 315 degrees. So, in polar form, z is 6 times the square root of 2 times cosine 315 degrees plus I sine, I'm going to have to squeeze it in here, 315 degrees. Now this is kind of long to write over and over again, so we do have a shorthand notation for that, and we can write it as cis, and you just keep in mind that that means cosine of the angle plus I sine of whatever angle that is, and so it's cis 315 degrees. So I've got the z value. Next I'll find the polar form of w. So we have w is the square root of 3 plus I. Let's check the quadrant first. So x is square root of 3 and y is 1. So we're talking quadrant 1. And I can see, what angle is this? That's a 30-degree angle. So let's see, RW is square root of 3 squared plus 1 squared, and take the square root of that, and I get 2. And theta for W, as I just said, is 30 degrees. All right. So now I'm going to find z times W. Recall that z was 6 square root of 2 cis 315 degrees, and w was something 2 cis 30 degrees, and so z times w is 12 square root of 2. I just multiply the r values together, and then I'm going to add the angles together. And this is, I'm going to write it all out this time. Cosine 345 degrees plus I sine 345 degrees. So that's z times w. Now let's find z divided by w. And so I'll take the r values and divide them. So I get 3 square root of 2 cis, and I subtract my angles. So since it's z on top and w on the bottom, it's the z angle minus the w angle. So that gives me 285 degrees. That looks about right. And so that's your answer for z divided by w. And of course you would write it out as cosine 285 degrees plus I sine 285 degrees. And that's all multiplied by 3 square root of 2. And that's how you do those problems.